to start recording, and I am going to change the presenter to game, and you'll see his screen any minute now. Yes, I can see it. So this is your visual merchandising.
So I have, like, I was gonna design the logo
Mm-hmm.
because it's literally a mess logo. But like.
Oh, the existing one?
Yeah.
So explain your whole project because they don't know what's going on.
Oh.
We can turn around and look at each other for this part.
So what I'm doing for this I chose a logo. What is it called? Store boutique. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever inspired me. I haven't either. She have.
Yeah, I've been there. Got gifts there.
So they're like they're in this old house, right? I think they're in this old house, and then like the interior design of the whole entire thing is bright colors and like really crazy, and it's kind of like hippie style. And then they take clothes from brands from Europe and then redo it, but not change it too much, you know. And they resell it, and they also sell what is it called? What braces and necklace, jewelry, and so I talked. You know the La Sol Hotel, whatever the apartment. I was gonna take that place where the first floor, and then make that whole entire space as the store, and then what, decorate it and try to make it work for them. I think it's a great place. It has a bunch of glass and stuff. It has the same personality as the shopping. So that's what I'm
All right, show us your logo that you were working on.
Well, the logo I haven't.
Oh, you haven't. All right, so
I haven't worked
show
on
me
it.
your PowerPoint that you started.
Just for women's clothing,
Uh-huh.
and then they lit up my moccasin black, and those brands they're from Europe, and then so they've been open since the 1993, and then they've been working for a long time. So it's been changing too much, but I was just reading about the articles and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I was working on the location, know more about the location, South Bend location. That's like the actual place where is the stuff. The PowerPoint is not gonna look like this.
Does their online website have pictures of the existing building
Yes.
and interior, kind of? I would include those.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you should have a front view of the building, too.
All right. I will do that. Talk about the history of the Lasalle Hotel, and now there are like basically apartments. So that's what basically I was gonna work on the first floor, and I'm gonna make that whole entire thing be the shop and divide it into three. Yeah, that's what I've been working on. More stuff.
Okay. And then for the LaSalle building, can you said you can get a floor plan of that?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I already got the floor plan. I just don't include anything like that, and just like look is here. That's it.
Okay, so you drew the whole floor plan.
No, I didn't draw it.
All right, so all right.
So I'm gonna redo it, like do it in not okay order.
Okay.
So yeah, there are the measurements to make the division of the stuff, the columns of that. So,
Are you doing, so it looks like the blue space, is that what you're doing? Because it looks like there's a lot of spaces for lease. Or are you doing a combination of spaces or what?
yeah, I'm gonna do spaces because, I mean, like if I do that only in the blue spot,
Mhm.
I just got one entry and then two glasses. That's it.
Okay.
So I usually do one close a lot and like the exterior, what is the initial
Okay.
stuff.
Let's see.
I like the villain, but I would do.
I would say, so you want to go, I'm putting a front view of Google Maps, existing interior photos, and then we need to draw the existing floor plan. Also, if you could, using Google Maps, and if you need my help with this, we can work through it together, but you can figure out the existing size of their existing building and then do it times 2 because they have 2 floors. So that would be how much they actually need space for. You know what I mean? And see if it's something where that's too much space if you were going to do multiple of those, or how many of those suites you'd actually need for it. You know what I mean? So that you're not having this sprawling floor plan for people who don't need it, because it is just jewelry and clothes, and so there's a reason they're in that small building. So I could see the blue space and maybe one other space,
Okay.
but I don't see us needing every single one of those spaces.
All right.
Okay? All right. What else you got?
Well, I've been finding my stuff about the history of the place.
Okay.
The trends of the merchandise, of design. Um, I've been focusing a lot in like the 3D and like how make people buying stuff
Mm-hmm.
and make people how to walk the whole story instead of like just going just one way, like focusing just whatever.
On traffic.
Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah. So it is about research. So, you know, I've been harping on some of these drawings and stuff, but if you've done some really good in-depth research that's going to make it a good project, then that's plenty of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they basically said if it like people trying to find like their whatever clothing they want, if it, you put like basically where the changing rooms are far away from it, people are gonna start walking and trying to find like they're gonna see different stuff and they wanted to buy more.
All right. What I want you to do is, like, you want to make sure that your workflow is being efficient. So, like, it looks like you found all these different things. And I know we say we want to avoid plagiarism by not, like, copying and pasting, but for this project, like, as much as we can, like, get into slides and just have it existing in there, like, find your favorite part of this article, copy and paste it, copy the URL, put it in there, move on to add another page to your PowerPoint. And then that way it's just all in there, so you don't have to have 100 windows open that you're going. You know what I mean? Like, you want to start having that, and then it's just as easy as cutting what you don't want and then adding a little bit of your own text.
All right.
So that'll make you more efficient, and that way it's less visually busy, which will make you anxious and slower at your work. Okay? All right, so I want to see, and I'm keeping a list for you, then the Google Maps view, the existing interior photos, the LaSalle floor plan, existing done, the size of the existing figured out, and then all of this research that you've done copied into your slides by the next week for this project. What about your other project? Are you just on the research side of that one?
So well, my other project is a contract office.
That's fun.
And then I chose like to work for the Fujitsu company, which is like a multinational information technology equipment. They're from Japan, and their location is gonna be in Tokyo, Japan as well. I misspelled this, but that is I make the purpose
Okay.
like a technological small office,
Mm-hmm.
and the object is to apply new trends, new concepts to the space. And like they signed with concept. I haven't done it. So.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I'm so confused with this movement shit.
Okay.
But like I literally took like some like ideas, and I research about like how this would work.
So the movers and shakers is where we were talking about Steelcase and Herman Miller are still pretty big players over there. And then you found the company that you're going to use to contrast it to, some of the info that you had. So like this is still part of the trends. So like the office phone booth and framery, that's more of like how you're implementing the technology into your design, but movers and shakers is more towards the historical people side of it. So like here's existing companies that have the biggest share of the market. You know what I mean? So Herman Miller and Steelcase, they're still big in Japan, but an up-and-coming Japanese company that competes with them is XYZ, and then you talk about like how they're compared, different, similar, different. So like Japan company is really tailoring itself to that new trend of the limited technology, like limited space. So they don't sell a bunch of panel products, whereas Herman Miller needs all those walls and cubicles like that because here in the US it's still a big part of what we do. So like you can compare the differences of the companies, so it's more about companies than trends. Does that make sense? You could talk about how like if you want to talk about a specific technology, make sure it's big, like it's a big focus of your project. So like if there was something really special, but I feel like you're going to have a lot of little things, you know what I mean, like technology booth and then like sound masking and. So if there was somebody who is like a famous inventor that did something, that would be a mover and shaker, like an inventor that's pushing technology forward in Japan, but it's not like a trend person, you know what I mean, unless the trend is for everybody. Okay. Mm-mm. Corning? No, I haven't. How do you spell Corning, Jermaine? Okay, a day made of glass. What do you guys think of his PowerPoint slide? So I'm assuming it's a play off of that's the company that you're focusing on for Japan. So is this, did you make this? Or this is an existing company's logo? Okay, and then the PowerPoint is just matching the logo.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about it? Do you think it's good? Do you think it needs work or change?
I mean,
I like it, except for maybe not as much bread as the rest of it.
it's not that I'm like, it's seriously like it's a business place, and then I have to focus in just two colors, and then literally like you gotta sell the product for the like I'm thinking like I'm selling the product to them, so they need to like know that I'm working with them.
It's
So that's why.
Japanese based. What colors? As far as Japan.
Well,
As far as
Japan is also like I focus obviously on the flag too because the flag is just red and white, and then that's like what they red for them is like an amazing color for them. So and then white like is basically simplistic again like business or like this.
Do you think, like, what about the red would change? Just that it's hard to read the text, or it's distracting from the photos, or what?
until I explained as far as
Mhm.
I mean, I think in Japan, what are their color rules or
Mhm.
which colors do they not like? Which do
Yeah.
they like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean I can change the color.
No, you don't need to change your color. She's just trying to give you things to think about. Okay?
Yeah.
So, like, make sure that's in your concept, though, and you relay that to the jury, because she's just giving you jury questions right now. So, like, why the red? You know, red is a really bold color here. So, like, if you're going to use it, start out, like, you know, the rest of my portfolio has been based off the flag, and this company happened to incorporate the colors of the flag in their logo, so I decided to incorporate that in the whole project, kind of it. Okay? Omar, what do you think?
Very good. And I always see the same thing as Shimeen
Mm-hmm.
with those color scheme.
Oh, you had the same color scheme.
Oh, he was just saying he had the same comment as Shemaine did about the color scheme. Like, what's the purpose of it? Why did you choose it? Is it too bold?
I know, it's like pretty bright. I can change it, I just like did
Well, as
not.
long as you like explain up front, this is why I chose this color.
Yeah,
And
it's just,
that right there, you talk about the flag, and that right there just says, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I like both of them. Like both of them as far as you're really, this is like your bread and butter. So you're good at the PowerPoint design stuff. You don't need a lot of work on that. You just need a lot of like catching up on drawings and getting everything in a list today so that you know how much needs to be done by next week. Okay?
but still have more, like I was talking about also the other ones.
Yeah, keep going.
The other ones are like for more, for just only 2 people meeting space. And then they also, that product has 4 different ones. Like the working palette that is just like a really tall table with only 2 bar chairs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then the other one is like, they call me time. There's like for 2 people and also for like 1, just to like relax and stuff. And
Make sure that every slide, so we talked about like the bibliography. Did I send you those links on how to do it for PowerPoint? Okay. Jermaine, do you want to show them how to do it for PowerPoint? Because you're better at it than I am. And you're sitting right there. I'm going to share Shemaine's screen for everybody because I think it'll be useful. So you were my buddy last year who did it. Yeah. So this is the point where you want to take notes if you need them, if you're a visual person who wants to remember the steps. I'll post the video too, but we don't have headsets, so it'll just be like, okay, all right, that's fine. Just create a quick one. Yeah, do his work for him. All right, so okay, then swap her spots. You're going to make her use your Mac? Okay, how do we do this?
You can hear me all right? Okay. So you go into your PowerPoint and pick a spot that you're gonna, it's like a quote or something.
I'm just gonna grab that.
Okay, now just pick a spot afterwards.
Oh,
For
here?
example, and there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, put a parenthesis. And then put like 1.
Oh, you want to grab this?
Because that we're going to use that. Okay, so go back to I had talked to
Yeah, I didn't know if they could still do that.
She said, oh, yeah, they can do that. Just contact the help desk. Well, I contact the help desk, but they send it to that Holly. And that Holly said, we can't do it.
Well, then no one can run their classes anymore.
And she's like, okay, we gotta use Google Docs. So,
It's like every time we have something big, we have to use Google Docs.
well, and every assignment record is big, right?
Yeah, so they have to share their Google Docs with me as an assignment every time.
And so I thought I would let you wage that war with her. I'll send you the emails.
Okay.
Because I think that's wrong. And everybody told us that you could increase the size.
Yeah.
Even in the instructions on Canvas, when you go on Canvas, it says you can do that.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll do it. I like yelling at people.
Okay. So I would like She's just not very responsible.
No, I think she responds, but she doesn't read.
Right.
So she just, but she does it quickly.
Yeah, she does it quickly. She just
Go
does
down
it.
here.
Just hover over it and then one E.
So,
The cadence helps put the little lessons in.
Alright, Shemaine, I'm gonna make you do it again.
Hi, Omar. You ready for a critique?
No, he's in my
I was
class.
in your class.
We're actually online right now in a meeting, but they're just trying to figure something out in one corner. It's not working?
What? Did it take you to there?
Alright, let's show on here, Shemaine, and then you can use my headset so then it's recorded for Omar. How to do it with just a normal PowerPoint. It might be a Mac, who knows, but it's still PowerPoint. And then that way he can hear it. He wants to watch it later. So use your loudest.
My loudest. I can't get very loud. Okay, so let's get it. Okay, so let's say you found something.
You don't unshare my screen still.
Oh, okay. There.
Oh,
Change it to me. Make me the presenter. Show my screen. PowerPoint. And then this was what I found on the internet. You know what I mean? Like that was going to be my
Oh,
thing to
so
cite.
that's your thing? Okay. So once you have what you're going to cite, do parentheses and the number that your
Mhm.
citing is going to be. And then you have like a bibliography page. You have your corresponding one.
Put your headset on.
Okay, can you hear me now? Yeah.
He'll hear you eventually. So Omar, what happens is on the first slide, we're pretending like that big bold text is something we found that we want to research, right? And so she did the parentheses because it's her first site that she's citing. So then she has a second page that's going to be her running bibliography, okay? So she puts the corresponding number 1 using a text box to match the first page. And then she's going to figure out how to link them so when you click, it'll go to that number on the bibliography.
Okay, so you highlight the one, you right click, and you click on hyperlink. And you want it to do it place in this document. Okay, so I already know that my bibliography is going to be slide 2. So that's what I tell it to do. Now you should be able to see, yours isn't doing it either.
Shemaine, you might have to watch the Google movie, the YouTube video. It's been a while.
Mine does it. Huh.
Is it that they both have to be hyperlinked together? Like that hyperlinks to the other thing?
It shouldn't.
Okay. Well, we'll watch it. We'll try something different.
Okay. Well, usually it does that.
Well, got halfway there. Alright, so
But when
show us everything.
on your bibliography, you know, you have your stuff or whatever, and you can do a back, and then you highlight that, right click, hyperlink, and then you can take it back to your first slide.
Okay.
Now, if everything's working right, usually all you have to do is go on there.
Does it have to be in play mode?
It might be. Let's see.
There you go.
There we go.
Yeah, so it just doesn't work until you actually play the slide.
So you can click on it. It takes people there, and then they can go back and finish reading.
Okay. So that's something that when you're working, Omar, that if you use the client info, or you went to Kohler's website and you put something on that slide, then you put parentheses, the number, and do the hyperlink like what she said, which is now recorded. And I also have 2 links of other YouTube videos that can show you how to do it. And then she's created the second page where it says the number 1, whatever the name of the website was, or the book, and then the same number, and then it'll go back and forth once you get the slideshow to play. Okay? Okay, so we want to be started on that.
And,
All right.
And if you turn your PowerPoint into a PDF, it will still work.
Really? That's really cool. All right, so did you have more to share, Gabe? Like more
I was
slides?
just gonna give like the other mover and shaker that was.
So I think instead, everything you have labeled as movers and shakers is actually current trends. Okay? So you have done the work, you just mislabeled it for now.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, so
You could find the person who actually invented that. That would be a mover and shaker.
yeah, exactly. So if you have any history on the invention side, you
I mean,
can do
that's
that.
what I did on the pocket hammer.
Thank you.
Well, I'm presenting now.
You're presenting now.
You want me to go ahead and do the
No, go ahead and skip over phase 1 and let's get right into what was due for this week. The layouts. What?
Except for this week, we have to do PA 1.
Phase 1?
Yeah.
Yes, unless we like talked personally. So did you get to any layouts? You did, right? So you had the existing layouts, and then did you start on like 3 conceptual layouts, like block plans? Okay, that's what I want to see. I know you're fine on the management side. And then if you have like you started a PowerPoint, like a style, then I'd want to see that as well. That's fine. However you turn it in. If you want, if you don't have it today, I can open it from there. Is that what you want me to do? Okay.
Alex, I'll check to see if I may have grabbed one of these and put it in my backpack.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and maybe I just need to make this bigger on my side. Okay, that's better.
I started with the bubble diagram.
Uh-huh.
And I color-coded the book as far as the different zones of the kitchen.
Uh-huh. So you have cleaning, non-combustibles, and then you based all of like their storage needs and things off the client profile?
Yeah.
Okay.
You might want to let people know, Allison, Best Buy right now has portable hard drives, 1 terabyte for half price and 2 terabytes for half price. I think the 1 terabyte's like $59 and the 2 terabytes $69.
Wow.
And it's like a regular
Endless storage right there.
half price is really a product of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
I bought one for my daughter. She's going to college.
Well, that was a good idea.
She can use one of those.
So you have your existing table in there then
Yeah.
that they want to keep, and it's all measured out, and then you've done the pass-through window and everything, and then we have our diagram. So which one is your favorite now that I have you on here, just so I know which one you think is going to work best? Conceptually. Shameen?
I like 2 or 3 better.
2 or 3? 2 or 3. We'll see if I like the same ones. What was the most difficult part about the space planning?
The table,
Okay.
because they wanted that area there for like China storage.
Uh-huh.
We were trying to keep the space around the table without running into the door.
Uh-huh. So when you were doing this, did you have your checklist to the side of you and all the planning guidelines and everything, and then you just walked through every single one of them and were like, yep, 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 for each of these? Or did you just start very conceptual and haven't gone that far into it?
I just did very conceptual.
Okay.
I did go through and was there one of those things that I actually has where they store what
Uh-huh.
I can use later.
Check with guidelines. And so if we were doing it, usually what I'll do when I'm grading is I have the handbook out, and then I have the PowerPoint up, and then I literally go through step by step every way, like, will these doors hit into anything? Did she have the triangle? And then I'll do it for every single layout, and then after I'm done with that, then I'll pick the one that was closest, hopefully was perfect, and then we'll go from there. So
I tried to do an island, but it just worked. Yes.
yeah, and it's not like the kind where if you use one wall, well, not really. I was gonna say you could do one wall in an island, but
Have in the past, remember, you almost need some kind of counter or something there.
on the other side for setting stuff on. Yeah, I like that idea. Do they tell you anything about the other room, or they literally just show you this and you can't draw into the other space? Because I know sometimes they give you a living room.
Inside there,
Okay. Okay. Well, I will take a look at these. This shows me that you're right on track with your project management.
and over here is the back.
Okay. And your favorite of those?
Probably one.
Okay.
Just trying to figure out how to even look.
Bathroom layout 1. And then it looks like you did try to move the door. Can you move both doors or only one?
Yeah, on the sheets you can move this one anywhere in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And over here, there's actually a wall right here.
Okay.
So you only got this little space.
Okay.
Or actually, the red line is where you either.
Perfect. That's really smart. Number 1, floor plan. And
Easier to get on the actual tablet.
uh-huh. And then that awkward window too. So interesting. Okie dokie. And yeah, why don't you go ahead and open your email? Do you have it in the background? All right, you open your email and then we'll come back to you in a second. Omar, I'm going to jump to you, okay? Okay, that's fine. Let's just pick up what you did. So you, and is it showing your screen now? Is that what I'm looking at? You got it kind of dimensioned. Okay, hold on. So let's see. Looking at your screen, let's go to just the CAD drawing for now in the background. So you've got a good start to all the existing spaces, which is great. And then as far as your dimension goes, what if you click on, let's just pick any dimension, okay? Click on it so it's active. I want you to go up to annotation in the upper left, middle left, that drop, the drop down. And then I want you to change that under, go down one, because the second string is dimension style. Click that drop down too. And choose NKBA. Yep. Okay. So zoom out for a second. It's so big. So I'm wondering if it's just because it's meant for the 1/2 inch size, but I'm wondering why it's so big. So did you start, this is the one that we set up. Can you type, click off of it for a second? And then type units. Architectural, angle, units to scale. Okay. Alright, let's exit off of that for a second. Alright, click on that big dimension. And then go up under, not double click because we don't want to change the font. Just click on it once. Go back up under annotation. And then where it says NKBA, drop down the arrow again. And then try interior design, the first one. Why is everything so big? Why would it be doing that? Alright, go back up to annotation again. One more time for me. So it's annotative. Drop down the, yes. Let's pick OI 1-4. So everything's being big and I don't know exactly why. Can you type regen for me? R-E-G-E-N. R-E-G-E-N. I think we had R-E-G. Not regen. Regen. R-E-G-E-N. Yes, exactly. I'm trying to think why this would be. So I can see that you have the decimal version, but it says your units are architectural. So even though it's showing as decimal, I know that they're inches. But why they're big and not small, I don't exactly know. So I'm going to write down for you, I'll come to you first after we get off of here, to figure that all out, whether it means starting a new drawing and copying this in, because they should be showing up at a normal size, and we want to use the NKBA one where it's in inches and not in feet and inches or decimals. But as far as the work goes, it looks good. So you got your initial drawings done, and then did you start a PowerPoint at all yet, Omar?
I need it because I want to do it in a document first, then transfer it to the PowerPoint.
So why do you want to do that?
Only it's easier to do it in a document and figure out where to place them in the PowerPoint.
So put it in a Word document and then copy it into a PowerPoint?
Yeah.
Is it just because you're more familiar with Word and it's harder to like move stuff around in PowerPoint?
No, I'm familiar with PowerPoint, but it's easier for me to do in Word.
Okay. My only like weariness about doing it, and I believe you because you know your own workflow, is just the layout of a Word document is 8.5 by 11 vertically. So you're going to redo it all. You know what I mean? When you post it in and it's 11 by 17, you're going to move it all again anyway. So why not start at the 11 by 17 and put it all in there and move it around instead of doing the work twice? It just feels redundant to me in a way. But if you really think that you'll be faster that way, you can. My recommendation would just be to learn to skip that step. And that way, just like I was telling Gabe, like if you have a website open you want to use, you copy and paste the text and throw it in your PowerPoint. And your PowerPoint doesn't have to be pretty right now. You could have the background all set up, but as far as like pasting information and just throw everything you want in there with the website that you want so you have it all in one spot. We don't have 50 windows open and a Word document and, you know what I mean? We have one place for everything. It'll be much more efficient. So I'd like to see you do that, but if you want to work in the Word document and transfer it all over, you can do that. Just be sure that for this week, so for the week, you're going to give me what you saw on Shemaine's screen, those at least 3 conceptual for bathroom and kitchen. So bath and kitchen. I'll write this down for you and give you the note at the end. Concepts, CAD. And then I want you to do your PowerPoint template at least, like you saw how he had the red and everything. So make something that says kitchen and bath to you, or says the client to you, or if you have a favorite brand like Kohler and you like their logo and you like the colors, some type of reasoning behind why you're choosing the layout you're choosing. If you choose a stock template, I want to see a little bit of change. So like Shemaine used the stock template last year and then put a photo in the background. So it's like if you don't want to change everything or start from a white one, that's okay. But make it a little bit more personal so that we know thought went into it, okay? So you'll create your template for your PowerPoint. And then I'm going to help you figure out dimension. Dimensions fixed. Inches, not inches, feet. Okay. Did you do more on the research end of it? Did you figure out what you want your focus to be for, besides the kitchen and bath project, that we could have a little bit more research on?
Yeah, I'm trying to focus on the current trends.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Did you find any good research, like something kind of cool that you wanted to share?
I did the research, but I can't really find anything.
So you didn't find any like really emerging trends then?
No.
Okay, we'll talk about that together when we meet. Okay, so you have a good start on all the initial stuff. We'll just get all these little details ironed out. Kate, I'm gonna send you a meeting. Oh, I sent you a meeting invitation. Did you? Yeah. So we were gonna do the turnaround thing and the half circle around everyone's computer, but to see things, it's easier on screen, and we just talk this way at each other.
Okay.
So we'll catch you up to what you missed out on. So Gabe is doing visual merchandising with a boutique downtown South Bend that he's going to move the location because it feels dated and counter the brand that's existing for the store because it's kind of European and it's in like a, have you been to Inspire Me? No. So it's like very crafty and colorful, but they sell a lot of European brands that are more streamlined, and so he's going to move it into an old building downtown, the style building. And then he's also doing his contract office, which is based off a Japanese company, and then doing technology trends in office. And Shemaine and Omar are doing Shemaine and Omar are doing kitchen and bath, and Shemaine's focusing on aging in place, and Omar is focusing on kitchen and bath trends in general. Shane, while Kate works on hers, did you pull up your email?
Me?
Shemaine. Did you ever pull up your email for me? Okay. Go ahead and like click on some of those links. I sent you 2. All right. Imagine your parents want to age in place. Yes. Okay, so I just thought, I don't know if there's anything to be done with this, but I like the 3D models, and I think there might be some in SketchUp, and there might be some existing CAD and Revit files that you could kind of modify and maybe color in no time, you know what I mean? And the coloring is what will make them interesting, but you don't really need to do the drawing side of it that much. And just like throw them in and have like a labeled, like a common aging in place bathroom, and what that looks like, and then with some labels to the side. So how did they adapt it for the living of an elderly person? And there's good research on here. And then the other link will show a little bit more about that labeling and how it would work in a plan view. So here it's like the architect designed the plan for a one-floor living capability, no flooring, transitions for ease of the wheelchair use throughout the home, easy, non-obstructed paths. So like you could do some of that bubble diagramming.
So do you want me to do it for the whole house or just kitchen and bath?
Just the kitchen and bath. Yep, yep. But just like ways to make it visually interesting. So like you'll of course show us your layouts and you'll talk about it, but then it's like it would be nice to just have a slide where there is a visual with like a little bubble, like here's the no slip floor or tile, or like little call outs of those materials that you chose. That's how it could look nicely displayed. And then as far as like you'll already most likely create, I don't know how you're going to do it. If you're going to draw in CAD, you won't immediately have a 3D view, but you'll at least have an elevation. I just thought if you want to talk about aging in place, you can find a couple like stock models like that, like models sell everything, so we can just print off a copy of that and hand render a little bit over, and it'll look 100% different than if we just use that existing drawing, and no one's ever going to know. And there's like you could cite where you got the original models and then you did the coloring part of it, you know what I mean? Yeah. Let's see. So now I will give the screen to Kate.
Did you want my PowerPoint or?
Oh yeah, I did want to see it. Yeah, let's look at Shemaine's existing template for her project. King and Selena Duncan. All right. So here's our intro page.
Okay, well, in their questionnaire, they started it out with like tans, greens, and browns.
Mm-hmm.
And the background is the granite. And I had chosen guitar. And I had it in green.
How does everyone feel about that? The yellowish cream kind of is off-putting to me. Not the granite part, but like, I don't know if it should...
It's hard to try to, the stack colors. It's hard to...
Yeah, I know you're matching...
Your screen looks so different than mine. It looks white on mine.
Oh, is it white? White shirt? Yeah, it looks better on your screen. So as long as it like reads that way on the big screen. Look how it looks on mine. It looks like you have like glaucoma or like cataracts or something.
Right.
Which would not be good for...
Well, and it's yellow. Everything they see is yellow.
Talking of aging in place.
Right.
This PowerPoint reads yellow. All right. So, okay, I think you're fine then. Yeah, this all looks really pretty.
As far as some of the stuff I found on aging in place, you want me to read it off? Or?
Like, I don't think you necessarily need to. Sense of social connection. Okay, keep going. So you can see within her slides there's little hyperlinks. When we're creating these, we want to create a running bibliography, and it's not so much about, like, there's a portion original thought, and how much that is for each of you is dependent upon the person. So like if you find a bunch of inspirational quotes that say what you want, then just put them in quotes and then give me the hyperlink, and then maybe do another like smaller portion, like your interpretation of that, and on the same thing. But it doesn't have to be like everything is a research paper. That's not what it is. It's like, these are my favorite excerpts from some of my resources, and if it's a book, then of course you type it, unfortunately.
Right.
So then you have the little running numbers that we should be able to click back to wherever the research was, and at the end the bibliography's there.
Okay.
Okay?
I didn't get the links going yet. I
Okay,
have the
that's fine.
sources and numbers,
Mhm.
but they're not linked to each other.
That's
yet.
okay, just as long as you're like working so you don't have to go back and do the work.
Did she post the video?
We went through it.
Explain that. Do you know how to do that?
She sent me a link, or
2 of the videos.
right,
Okay,
some
the
videos.
hyperlink and
Right.
that. Well, when you turn it into a PDF, it still works.
Isn't that cool?
There you go.
So,
Okay, so this looks good. I think all of your layout and spacing, everything looks great. Keep going. Wait, what do we got?
and then a little bit about the CAPS program, the National Association of colors.
Mm-hmm. I like that she has a title block in the right-hand corner, and it's consistent, and it's integrated in with everything. Great. Oh yeah, I think I like it, as long as the color looks like it does on everybody else's screen.
Well, when I tried to go with a lighter kind of yellow, it just looked white.
Yeah.
So it is a yellowish? Okay, see my,
Yeah, it is a yellow. See, now on my laptop, it's a little more like.
So like, look at his though.
right.
So like, I would
Really yellow.
I prefer it to be white than yellow. So like, I like it on that computer, just because it is like kind of a sick color on his and mine, where it's like, blah. That's that's how I
It's
feel.
like
about
my
it.
bathroom.
It's like
That
really
whole
yellow.
Yeah. So
I could go with the lighter. I think if I went with a lighter one, it would show up.
yeah, I think you can have some of that gold in the background color, and you don't need to necessarily integrate it so perfectly. You know what I mean? Match the body of color in the background. It'll still be fine.
It amazes me how different they look on different computers, because I have a
Uh-huh.
MacBook and a PC, and I'll have them open at the same time, looking at the same thing. Nothing.
And
the
you can
same.
you can calibrate them both. There's like a setup that you go to in
Yeah,
your
but still, like, Mac has better
Oh,
quality.
it's so
property.
like compared to
We should
everything's
present on
kind
it.
of blue
Yeah.
on the PC.
Gotcha. What was I thinking? Gabe, I'm just gonna, I want you to share with Kate really quick your, just like show us the differences in your two PowerPoint layouts. So this one's his visual merchandising.
Yeah, it's like a fashion design. Well, it's not fashion design, but like it's fashion design. It's like more.
Like everything looks really pretty, well put together. And then go to your Japanese company. Just do a quick, let Kate in on the secrets of what we're doing with everybody's projects.
Sorry. Making you.
Well, this is the first time they've presented today, so it's not like 2 days of, 2 missed times. So that one matches, he matched the logo. You can see he took from the
Okay.
little J and put it in the corner of, and used the red throughout. So very different presentations, even though he's doing 2 simultaneous projects. Okay, thanks, Gabe.
Nice.
I'm going to send it to Kate. All right, Kate, tell us what you're doing.
I am digging deeper into SketchUp. Why aren't you open? Doing job searches just for future knowledge and wanting to know what's kind of focusing on more. Tons of places said proficient knowledge of SketchUp. Like CAD was obvious,
Mhm.
but I'm interested in kitchen and bath, so 2020 was a huge one, and SketchUp. And I was like, okay, I feel like I need to learn it a little bit more, because we did touch on it in 108, but I learned slowly. So I needed to spend a little more time. So,
Was it Layla or Julia?
Julia killed it.
although I'm not trying to leave the meeting. I'm trying
Probably
to-
Julia. Julia loves it, so she just,
She's good at it.
yeah,
Good at one.
SketchUp.
SketchUp. She took her own house and created it in SketchUp.
Well, and a lot of the stuff I've been reading is like everybody says it's so easy. To me, it wasn't easy, but they're like,
It's either easy or it's not easy. There's no middle. So like, I know Caroline, who's like an exceptional student that we all hear about. Like, she opened it up and closed it and was like, I'm not doing this. And I was just like, well, why? And she's like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, she'd been working in Chief and CAD, and she was like,
Yeah.
I like move it just this little bit, and like the whole thing rotates, or like, how does this even work? So it took her a long time to get on board until we did summer research. Like, she didn't like it when she was the SI for my class. She never got to take it as a class, but she was learning it as we went. So basically like a student who was auditing, and she's like, oh, I can't stand this program. So I think once you revisit it, it really is all about process. So like if you do the process in order, it's not frustrating. But
That's
it's
what I've-
just memorizing the process is the hard part. And so you just have to redo. So maybe that's like building a wall 100 times or whatever. And the next time I run it, the first time I ran it, we built, instead of the extra building, we built the whole house, like I said. So I built the whole house, and then they added the walls to it, and then like added materials to the house. But the file was so big, so like imagine how frustrated you guys were with the little one. It was not worth the hassle. It was like conceptually great, and everyone was happy they had it at the end, but like miserable hours, like up until 2 a.m. with people who are like, I am double clicking, but I can't do anything because it's loading the
It's
whole
just spinning.
And so like that made them angry. But that ran a lot smoother, I thought, because it was smaller.
Right.
It was smaller conceptually, but the building was so big that it made it run slower.
Now with the SketchUp, that's one thing I figured out because it's like how much time I just sat there waiting. Well, it was autosave. And if you go into the settings and tell it to autosave like
Less.
every half hour or
Mhm.
15 minutes, then you're not like every few minutes.
Okay.
And that might be
That's a
something
good
you look
point.
into, because there are a whole bunch of things that we don't cover about how to make it run faster. So one big thing was what they talked about in the school with the flash drives being in the right port. So like if it's a double the speed type of flash drive, then make sure it's plugged into the SS. But like you can turn off the quality of the graphics to be lower when you're modeling and then turn it back on. So like how can you make it so you're not miserable? Like there's probably quick tips articles on those kind of things that people would love. And so all of this is good because I know Kathy was saying like once you're done, then it'd be something that you get to say like I helped create part of a course. That's how we'd let you present it, because these are things that I could put into my class and say like here's research somebody did and here's quick tips on how to do more if you want to do more
Okay.
by one of our students. So it looks really good in a portfolio. Yeah. So
I read it.
anything you really think is useful as a student, that's what we're looking for. And then some cool stuff that you're like, if you have time.
Well, that's what, when some of the research, I'll go to this next slide. Why are you not going to the next slide? Okay. Isn't SketchUp just for housewives and school children? Because that's, only a lot of people think it is so basic that it can't do more. You laughing? But like this architect, from concept through all the way through to development, construction documents, everything he does on SketchUp.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, you
And-
can. I told you that. We just don't teach it that way because I'm trying to teach 2 technologies. So
Right, and that's what I mean,
That's insane.
Notre Dame does that. They do everything.
but like see his construction documents, they're like color coded and blah, blah, blah. And one of the things I remembered learning in one of our design classes was the more specific you are in your details and call outs and everything, the less chance for error, which is costly, time consuming, all these, like these construction documents are ridiculously detailed. And he was saying on like this house, he had 60 some pages of construction documents. And I mean, it's a very large custom home, but still, some architects were then like, you seriously paid for all those ArchD sized prints? But I was like, okay, but if it like helped move the process along in different bids and permits and not have errors, I'm sure it becomes cost effective at some point. But just knowing that that's possible, obviously by the end of my report this semester, it won't be anything like this. But knowing that that was possible, I thought was pretty cool.
It is awesome.
It's when learned and leveraged properly, SketchUp can do amazing things. Yeah. So this was just a little timeline history. It was started just in 1999. These guys made the software company. In 2000, they enrolled it at a, what's it called? The architecture, whatever. all
ArchiCAD.
that's- What?
ArchiCAD.
Is that what it's called?
I think so.
At an exhibit, and it won Best New Product or Service, and then they sold it for a few years, and then they collaborated with Google to be able to incorporate the Google Earth images, and Google was so impressed with it that they're like, we're buying it, and then they offered it for free, because that's kind of Google's wheelhouse. But then they also made the pro version that we obviously pay for. And then the bottom is me. requiring a little bit more.
And
And here we are.
it's not a bad price though. I mean, that's something if you want to talk, if you're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I did.
Because when I was doing the comparison with Trisha, who was in our class, it was like you could pay for CAD and only have one dimensionality and pay $300 a month or whatever it ends up being for the whole program every month or every year.
Right.
Or you could buy this for a year every year and then it's, you know, way cheaper, like a
Right.
fourth of the cost.
Right, and that's it, that quote there. It says, when compared to other popular design and documentation programs on the market, this workflow is very inexpensive. SketchUp Pro comes with Layout. It's already there, which is the document program. But, I mean, you're able to do landscape design, urban planning. Like, this was actually just from a woodworking website, but I thought it was cool because you're visualizing the garden and his woodworking work. And then as far as why we kind of need to have a strong focus on 3D designs, because clients expect it now. They're so used to seeing it on design shows.
They think
and
it's
now,
so fast.
Right, right.
Just put
And
me
like
up a
that,
rendering.
that Modsy app that, I mean, you'll see it on Facebook and everything. I'm like,
I added it, but it's like they want to do the work for you.
yeah, I know.
So like I added it
hiring, though.
because they were like, oh yeah, you know, download this thing, and then you download it, and it's like, okay, send us
Send us
pictures of your,
pictures.
and I was like, no, that's not what I want. I want the control. I don't want you doing anything.
But I seriously, Allison, almost sent you a link when I was job searching because they're hiring
Yeah.
in this region. And I was like, oh, you like to do
that.
this at your house. Do you want to do it for other people too?
For sure.
Different renderings. You can do just simple lines. You can do like hybrid ones where you print them out and hand render over it. And then there's the photorealistic images as well, which to me, I look at that and I'm like, you can't tell me that's not a picture, but it's not a picture.
Those are add-ons.
The
Yeah.
rendering
Plugins.
Yeah. So it's cheaper than most CAD programs, easier to learn, sign me up, but easier doesn't mean easy. And that's where the problem lies. Most people jump in and they can make like a nice 3D glob of an image and be really happy with it, but then to be able to move forward with it in a time-conscious manner and not rip all your hair out, you need to learn the file management. The organizational tool Outliner that's in there, I really don't know a whole heck of a lot about it, but that's one of the things I'm going to be focusing on. Layout for construction documents, and then that's where I'm at so far.
Okay. No, I think you're in a good spot.
What are you talking about? You're doing okay.
Yeah, because I felt like I spent a lot of time reading, and then I'm like, that's like 4 pages.
But like we have 8 weeks, and I mean 8 weeks sounds like a little, but like look how much you had done, and if you can imagine giving it as a presentation, eventually we'll have to probably cut it back. You know what I mean? So the more the better.
So I usually go right, like type crazy,
Mhm.
and I really tried pulling it back,
Yeah.
so it was more visual.
Yeah, no, I think you've done a great job. So you're just working on actually figuring out what the outliner does, actually figuring out what layout does, which you kind of, you might want to move that slide when you start thinking of, I don't know. So it's going to be up to you if you want to like introduce everything and now more in depth on all the really in-depth things, because when you get into using the layout, it could go up by the guy who does all of his construction documents, and then you like kind of go through the layout. You know what I mean? It depends
So
on
what
how you want
that
to
was
manage.
actually, I moved that slide around a few times. Oh, damn it, I just moved it again.
It's summer, we forgive you. You can swear in my class.
Oh, Pandora's box. At first I had the history right after that, and I'm like, well, I've been told twice now in presentations, don't start with a boring page, so I put like the wow factor pictures up there. But what could I put instead?
Yeah,
if
I
were
like
to
your
move-
tag. I like your tag slide. So like, who is it really for? And then that's after that is where you're like, here's what you can actually do with it.
Well, it starts just there,
And then we have the tag slide.
and then is the history, because I didn't really know where to put that.
I think it's a little different, one for you and two for the project. So like, not that research is boring, but it is research, so it's not like we're not a client, you know what I mean? We're like a board who's discovering more about your topic, and so history is actually important to us. Like, just history is research itself, so it is interesting. Although, you know, maybe history as a general, like, it's not that interesting. So I don't think you need to worry about that. Everyone has a similar order. We did it that last way, you know, and you need to have a background because it's a research topic. So to give us that background is important at the beginning. I like the tag. It like draws me in at the beginning, like, oh yeah, you know, it's kind of a piddly thing. Why should we even care about this? So, like, you're recognizing that it's funny, and then you go into the boring or like the initial stuff we need, and then you go into other stuff. I'm just wondering if you're like, you have a slide once you figure out all your videos, all how to use the outliner and how to do the layout, and if you just like put that thing, okay, so here's like the big picture. You can do all this stuff, and you do it using layout, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And then here's like the fancy architectural side of it. And then you're like, you could use just a little version of it without layout and do really good management that helps you do it. Or you can move that in front. But like, I feel like those bigger things will come later in big chunks where you like present a whole concept, as opposed to like highlights and then the whole concept. So that's just like seamless transition between the three things.
So, and that all obviously, as I come to it,
Yeah.
that'll make more sense to where it would go. Like,
We
I
hope
think
so,
it'll
anyway,
intuitively,
Kate.
yeah, that's where it should go.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it will. But I think that your layout, it's simple, but I mean, SketchUp is simple. So like, I like the little SketchUp icon. I like the black, white, and red on the first slide. Was there one that I was looking at? What's the one below that? The next one.
The one under
Yep. Click on that one. That's probably the
the least.
least interesting, but I think it's because the bounding box for popular design shows has too much negative space above and below, so I either bring it in and give it a little bit more side on the sides instead of like filling this space, you know what I mean? Like, I'd bring the rectangle in more because it feels wasted, and just have it be the size of the font, and then maybe do like a band above or a band below if you want to fill the space, or move it down and add another image because it didn't feel very intentional. But that's
A
fine.
band, just like a band of color.
Yeah, like you could fill in color blocks if you wanted to, or gray, or whatever you want to do. So it doesn't always have to be an image that helps balance it. It just has to be like a weighted item.
Okay.
Or you can leave it like that. Like, that's still asymmetrically balanced because we have photos on one side and text on the other. It just felt like we were just stretching the box, but it was still empty. So it was like,
Okay.
I'm not feeling it kind of a thing.
Okay.
Everything else looked pretty good though, in my opinion. Anybody else have opinions? You're allowed to have opinions.
Please, feedback.
I like number 6. Well,
Yeah, that's a kind of nice asymmetrical balance. I think you're in good shape, and yours is way more research driven. So eventually figuring out, oh yeah, tell them what you're doing. So I added another piece
Okay.
to make it more your own personal project.
Let's see. Should I open that?
Yeah, and did you get everything to open eventually? Sorry, I didn't.
Well, that one file that I emailed back saying, I don't know how to open this. I asked my husband. He's like, it doesn't open. It's just information. I'm like,
Shame.
so Allison's
And then-
sister-in-law has a cupcake shop that she is wanting to just redecorate, right?
Well, yeah, and like rip maybe parts of the counter out, but basically redecorate the front with finishes.
Okay. So Allison's husband was creating it in SketchUp, like has the thing that's opening right now. And Allison asked if I'd like to try to take a hand at redoing it as part of the project. So, do you guys have my screen? Yeah. So, this is her little cupcake shop. So you're saying footprint, obviously the building remains the same and the counter's going to stay in the same area.
The L shape of it, but like those two things on top, she only needs one of those technically, or like those two stacked on each other. So you could cut in, you just need to keep that much footprint. So like you could remove the whole counter technically, and you could have like half of it be storage and half of it not, which I'll show you here in a minute. You asked about some inspiration stuff.
Right, and then I was like, did I actually talk to you about that? Because there's a bakery in our town that does have like corrugated metal in that. I'm like, was I just thinking bakery in my town? Or was that something you had said?
Things I want to make. My husband needs to work on his project management skills. I never find anything on his Pinterest.
And does she have like require seating for this many?
Nope.
Or?
Nope. So did I? In one of those, I felt like I sent. Did I send you any photos? Did you have? You should have had photos of the original place. So like, that is enough seating so far. But my husband's full of great ideas. Let me tell you.
There's Allison. Which child is yours in this picture?
Mine is this one.
The one standing up by you?
Yeah.
Little cutie
That's
pie.
mine. So those tables they bought on like a whim right away just because they wanted to start. It had been a previous family member who owned it, and it was kind of trashy in there. So like all of the colors, it's kind of like Pepto-Bismol pink, an awful pep green.
She wants to keep that branding.
She wants to keep the pink. She could
Okay.
do without the green, and she doesn't care about the location of the pink. She doesn't want to be like pink. She wants it more of like the abstract idea of like a Tiffany's where it's like there's some pink incorporated that shows the branding. My husband suggested like a white, kind of like more modern, like you can tell by their website brand, like chalkboard wall is good, corrugated metal, like cardboard type feels, or like woods, and not exactly rustic industrial, but that kind of a thing with that more pretty incorporated into it.
Okay.
So it's just like a merger of the two, but she's pretty open-minded about it. She just feels that white will be like bleak, but I think it could be okay if it was done right. So,
The knoll,
And that cooler, that remains?
no.
what chair?
Chairs and tables.
There's lots of great
I don't know if it's knoll.
contract manufacturing. Hey, what board is the stuff for Lisa on? Because you don't have like a board for Lisa. You have funnies, tattoos, web likes, things I want to make.
He's so funny, he's okay.
Oh, I wanted to look at it. Why do you have to organize it? That's okay. I just need to scroll down. I just need to scroll down real quick. I can find it from where you're at. Yeah, just share it with me. Okay, thanks. Love you. Bye. I have to organize it if I'm gonna send it to you. That's okay. So
The cooler is staying?
the cooler
And the
is staying,
things
or
back.
it could be modified, like if it was incorporated into the front of the thing. But do know that behind that counter is it's like storage racks. Like it's like open shelving right now. So like probably at least 5 linear feet of open shelving of some type back there. But my husband had done one where the first shelf, like over here, he like cut all of this down so it was all flat. He put some stools here and then had like the container on one end, like stacked up to the countertop height and lower. She likes the idea of the lower. It doesn't have to be that way, but like you have a lot of room to change and not have to change much behind. You know what I
She
mean?
likes the idea of the lower what?
Like if these are down here instead of sitting on top. Because this is the door you come in, and so like you can't see anybody when they come in. But she doesn't need all these. See, she only uses the bottom two. So technically she needs like one more on top of this, or like 2 stacked that are a little bit taller on the other end. But like this can completely get cut down, and she doesn't need it. So keep the cooler or move it, make it double smaller. Like it could be short and wide. They're not married to that one. And then the Keurig needs a spot. And then she has like these photo albums of weddings and stuff that she's done that can sit on the countertop if they have to, or they could have their own table, or they could be like lookbooks that are on the tables where the people eat, whatever you're thinking. So don't, spend your whole life doing this portion of it. I'd work on everything else first, and like you could even use the emptier model if you never get around to it, to just like use and lay out and like show a project that's not just like somebody else's stuff. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And kind of customize it and play with it, which will make it more fun and personal. Artwork is huge.
I was gonna say, these blank walls are what killed me.
Yeah.
When I looked at them, like, did they take down
No,
things?
that's exactly how it is right now.
Well, and they seemed like the sense of humor on some of the different
She
quotes
has a
and
great
stuff.
sense
I
of
was
humor.
like, because I looked at the website and stuff, and I
Mhm.
was like, she seems like she'd be up for some fun
She
stuff.
would be.
Good
So
morning.
Good morning.
she's up for anything. She just needs help.
You got your mouse back, right? Yes. You
Yes.
came in. Okay, good.
So that's what Kate's working on. I think that'll wrap up our lecture portion today. And then in future weeks, I don't feel like we're going to have to do this every week. It'll probably be every other week where we do this kind of presentation, because we'll be working then for a long period of time on the drawings, and then we'll revisit once we have more PowerPoint slides, if they're going well and all that kind of stuff. Otherwise, it'll be a working lab. Okay, well, I'm going to end the video then. End meeting for all.